so what we're gonna do, for those of you who have trained with me before, there's probably 3 or 4 different shooting routines I like to take you through as part of a warm-up on the court. And this is gonna be one of them, okay? So for some of you, this will be familiar. For others, this will be brand new. But what we're gonna do first is we're gonna go through 2 different variations of the Mikan drill. Then we're gonna do the reverse Mikan drill. Then we're gonna move on to something I call the Tim Duncan drill. And then after that, I'm gonna take you through a form shooting drill. For the older kids, I call it the swish drill. But for the younger kids, we're just working on good form and getting reps at certain spots on the floor. Okay, so one thing as we get ready to go into this exercise, it's really important that you really give, and I know this sounds really cliche because every coach says this, but you make sure that you try and do each shot and each rep to the best of your ability with good form. And the reason for that is as you do that, those reps accumulate and it adds discipline. And as you're called upon to do those specific types of shots in a game, you're going to be far more confident, you'll have a greater chance of making the shot, and then you're just going to get more court time as a result. If you take these types of drills not so seriously, just because you don't like them, you think they're boring, some of them might be a little uncomfortable, then what's going to happen is in a game, you're just not going to have that skill acquisition, and next thing you know, you're going to be missing more shots, and then usually that just ends up in being benched, okay, which is not fun for anyone. So as you do this, really pay attention to the 2 different variations. I'm just going to make 10. All right, and then I'm gonna ask you guys at home to make 20, okay? So you can pause this video as you need to. So the first one we're gonna do is the jump hook variation of the Mikan drill, okay? What that means is I'm gonna start right here on this side of the court. I'm gonna have 2 hands on the basketball. I'm gonna jump pretty much as high as I can, place it on the glass, get my rebound, step across. You shouldn't need to dribble. For you younger kids, you might need to add a dribble, and then you're going up left side with the left hand, okay? And I'm gonna perform 10 reps. Hopefully I get 10 makes, okay? So again, this is the jump hook variation of the Mikan drill. I'm gonna step through. Okay, so that's the jump hook variation. The next variation we're going to do is more of a continuous variation of it. So on this one, instead of stopping and starting and going straight up, I'm actually going to be on more of an angle. So I'm going to step through and kind of swing around. Okay, another 10 makes, hopefully. Just one more quick note to that exercise. Try to keep the ball at least chest height, especially for you kids that have to play in the post. What you don't ever want to do after you get a rebound is bring the ball down. First of all, that slows down your reaction time to get up for another shot, and then also gives those really skilled guards an opportunity to tap the ball away, and you see it a lot. So when you do that, try and be disciplined. Get that rebound, keep the ball chest height at least, and then you're going right back up again. Okay, it'll take a little bit of effort, but after a while, it's just gonna feel natural. The third variation is now the reverse Mikan drill, okay? So you're literally gonna face the other direction, and then treat this, I'm not gonna say like a dance, because I'm not much of a dancer, but the footwork is really simple. I'm going up, back, up, back, up, back, up, back. Now watch how that works here. I'm due to miss one, so we'll see what happens. There it is, missed the first one. All right, another 10 makes, here we go. you see hopefully you can see the footwork there. Together, go up, right extension, come back, together, go up, left hand extension. And that's your reverse Mikan drill. So that's a great exercise. You'll be surprised, even if you're a guard and you just treat this as a person's exercise, you'll be surprised how applicable this is to your game as a guard. Even though you might not spend a whole lot of time in the key and in the paint, you are really working hard to get high percentage shots. So obviously we like to think of the three-pointer. However, there's a lot of back cuts that you're going to receive. There's a lot of just drives where you have to get to the basket and get ahead of the big guys and ahead of your defender. And ultimately, if you break that type of shot down, it's what we were just working on, which is your Mikan drill. You're going to have to gather and go up with two hands, which was the first variation of the Mikan drill. There's the continuous variation. And then on the reverse Mikan drill, that's your backdoor cut coming on the other side of the basket. So don't neglect that exercise just because most people that are tall and they're post players will do it, because you're going to utilize it as well, I promise. So this next exercise we're going to do now is the Tim Duncan drill. So if you're not familiar with Tim Duncan, go YouTube him, look up his highlights. He's probably, I don't think I'm going to get in trouble with any of your parents when I say this, he's probably the most fundamentally sound big man to ever play the game, okay? There have definitely been others, but with Tim Duncan, he's kind of like your textbook big man. So he actually got made fun of quite a bit by sports people at like ESPN and things like that. They called him boring. However, he was so good and he was so fundamental and he was so sound. He was like a coach's dream and he was very successful. People in Utah will say Karl Malone's the greatest power forward of all time, but the rest of the world will probably say it's Tim Duncan. So this drill right here, you're going to start underneath the hoop. You're going to flick the basketball out. You're going to run to the ball, go around, inside foot pivot, face the hoop, and then we're going low to high, bank shot. The key to this is balance, footwork, and patience. When a lot of people do this drill, they go too fast. Just go nice and slow, okay? Again, I'm gonna go 10 shots. I'm gonna count my shots, not my makes. Hopefully it's 10 for 10, but I'm due to miss one. So. Rotate around below the knee. Right on. And again, make sure you reset after each shot. Don't go too fast. Oh, you know I'd miss one eventually. Try and stay loose. The tighter you get, the more likely you are to miss. We're going to do two more. Oh! Gotta finish on a make. There you go, that's the Tim Duncan drill. Some of your coaches might have a different name for it, but I'm gonna give credit to the big fundamental. Okay, so by now you should have a little bit of a higher heart rate. You should have broken a sweat. Now I feel like it's best to work on that shot. So I get it. The best players in the NBA can shoot the three, right? However, I've seen private workouts of people like Steph Curry and Klay Thompson, and they don't go straight to the three-point line or the half-court line. They go straight to the close to the hoop. So that's what we're going to do here. And the reason for it is you're trying to work out the kinks, get your rhythm down, see the ball go through the rim, okay? Get your confidence up, and then as you do that, it sounds strange to say this, but you develop a connection with the ball, a connection with the rim that you're on for that day or that week, and then you're able to develop more confidence as you work your way out, okay? So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna challenge you older kids. So let's say if you're 10 and older, you're gonna call this the swish drill. Your challenge, okay, is to make 5 swishes at each of the 5 spots. So that's on the wings, on the corners, and then right from the top of the key, right in front of the hoop, okay? So you have to make 5 swishes. It doesn't have to be in a row, okay? Even if it goes in and it hits rim, you're not counting it, you're only counting all net, okay? For you younger kids, okay, you are focusing just on trying to make the shot and have good form. Take your time, because believe it or not, sometimes the most difficult shot to make is the easiest one, which is right in front of the hoop. So just for the sake of time, because I know you don't want to watch me shoot for 20 minutes, I'm going to start really close. I'm going to make 3. I'm going to do the swish drill version. I'm going to make 3 at each of the 5 spots. Then I'm going to take a step back and do the same thing. Your challenge, again, I'm not going to record myself doing this all the way out to the 3-point line, but your challenge is to go out a minimum of 3 steps. So you'll start right here. This would be step 2. This would be step 3. So minimum of that distance, okay? If you're pretty good, if you're playing in high school, I expect you to try and do this all the way back to your high school 3-point line. And yes, it is tough, but it's very, very doable at the same time, okay? So here we go. Even though that went in, I'm not going to count it. Still not counting it. Takes a little while to get that rhythm. There's 1, 2, 3. Now go to the next spot. That is. What's funny about that is when you get done, it's definitely a workout, especially when you go all the way out to the 3, but it's remarkably calming because you really have to be in tune with everything. Your footwork, the way you use your legs, the way you use your core, the way you use your extension, and then the way you use your breathing and your mind as well. The reason why I have people do this drill is to kind of desensitize ourselves. So when we're in a game, if you shoot it and you make it, if you're either relatively new to the game or, I don't know, if you haven't done this drill a lot, there's a good chance you're gonna get really excited, which is great, all right? You wanna get excited, you have to play the game because you love it. However, sometimes we can lose focus for a second. So what this does is it gets you used to seeing the ball go in, and so you're not getting as excited to see it go in because you just kind of demand it and you're wanting that perfect shot. And what happens, you get used to seeing it go in, you develop greater confidence, and then in a game, when you make your shot, you're staying focused on the task at hand, which would be next to be defense, as opposed to, I made a shot. And then just that acknowledgement alone can cost you 2 or 3 seconds, which sometimes is all the other team needs to get the ball down the other end of the court and score. Before you know it, your momentary celebration, even if it's in your mind, can cost you some court time. All right, so that's why I have people do that drill. As silly as that sounds, but it's really worked well for me and people that I work with. So that's the swish drill, okay?